Hey guys, it's HungryRaichu, and I've been actually trying to get this video in particular up. Um, First I ran into some technical difficulties, finally got that sorted out, and when I uploaded it, it got blocked for copyright. Probably because I had the actual videos in it, so this time I'm going to try with just screenshots. Initially I was going to do it with just screenshots, but I decided to go for doing it with a video, but that obviously didn't work out. So we'll try it this way, and if it doesn't work, then I don't know. I guess I'll just not do this. But yeah, you'll see. You'll obviously know if it worked. Well, that it worked. You won't know if it didn't work, I guess. Anyway, basically, I'm just going to talk about the trailers. And in this video, I'm going to kind of show that the trailers kind of go in a straight line, basically, to a certain extent, and discuss some like little theories and stuff that I've come up with. Other people probably have too, but whatever. So we'll start with this. The theory that I have is based around, and I'm viewing these images in the Windows photo viewer, so we can zoom in. It's around Hala and Kukui, and I have a screenshot with that shows his name later, so I can show you guys where I get their names from, if you don't already know, which you likely know, but you know. Anyway, it revolves around Hala and Kukui. Basically, some people are saying that Hala is the professor, some people are saying that Kukui is the professor, but most of the evidence that people are showing isn't really enough. But I think I have enough evidence to prove which one is the actual professor. So, in this we'll have screenshots from all three trailers, so yeah. So, first off, in the Japanese trailer, when the kid first turns on his 3DS, what does he see? It's Kukui here. And we'll just zoom in. So basically what we're seeing here is, if it'll zoom back out, it's like a computer screen type thing. Most people are saying like, this is the new way of communicating. This is like the cross transceiver, the holocaster, the phone or whatever, the Pokegear kind of thing, for this region. Which it very well could be, but the only other place we see this is the next part that's coming up. In any of the trailers, there's only this shot and I think it's the next one, unless I messed up the order of these. I don't think I did, but whatever. So yeah, basically it's the same thing with the whole, like, it's like a computer screen with the minimize, maximize, and X buttons. And it's basically what I think is, this is the beginning of the game, obviously, because the kid in the trailer just turned his game on. So basically, it's the professor introducing you to the world of Pokemon, because you know that's what happens in every single Pokemon game. Is you turn it on and the first thing you see is the professor. So that's why I think Kukui is the professor. Most people are just saying because he welcomed you to the region, which you'll see here in a minute. And most people that say Hala is because he gives you the starters, which obviously you'll see here in a few minutes. So yeah. Then he asked, are you a boy or are you a girl? So you get to choose your character. And the kid in the trailer picks this one. So about the characters, let's see. Obviously they look kind of plain, but we're clearly getting customization back. You get 4 skin colors instead of 3 now, and looks like this skin color gets the same hair color as this over here, same eye colors as these two, or whatever. Anyway, this one kind of reminds me of Bianca, like the hairstyle and everything. Obviously their clothes are really plain, which kind of tells me, along with some other proof later on in the video, that we'll get the full customization. Hopefully we'll get more clothes than like an X and Y, especially for the guy character. More clothes, more hats. Obviously I don't think you'll be able, I think you'll be able to change your hat at least. Not quite sure about taking it off, but maybe. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. But yeah, I think that customization is back fully. But like I said, the only other place you saw this little computer type screen was right here, which I think it very well could be a new way of communicating, but I think maybe in the beginning of this game you're talking to the professor on the computer, so it's just a new, different way of starting out the games, like how in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire you started out playing the the Game Boy version, or the advanced version, or whatever. It was a weird looking Game Boy, obviously, but it was a neat little new way to start it. So I was thinking they probably are doing something new with this. But like I said, it could still be a new way of communicating as well. And we'll talk more about the whole computer thing here in a little bit. So then we get a look at the region, which I'll zoom in on that. And so basically we see one island, which you can tell this can't be the entire region, because there's your hometown right here, obviously. And you can see this is where in a few minutes you'll see you come out of this house right here and then head this way, and then obviously go up here to what we assume is the lab. I can't think of anything else that would be. Plus you get your Pokemon here, so obviously that's likely the lab and your house and your rival's house, because that's a typical little hometown. Your house, your rival house, and the lab, and that's like all there ever is. If you notice, there's not a whole lot of grass that you see in the trailer. It looks like there might be some right in here, and here, and down here. There could be some back through here somewhere. Not entirely sure, but it's possible, because you can't really see very much since it's so blurry. So we'll talk a little bit about like certain locations on here. Obviously there's this big crater or whatever, so maybe there could be like a town somehow in that. I don't know, but there's these little mansion type things, or this one looks like it might be a beach house kind of thing, big beach house. This one looks kind of haunted, like a haunted mansion, kind of like that one in X and Y. And this kind of looks like Parfum Palace over here a little bit, just because of the hedges and bushes and stuff. Maybe that's just me, but whatever. I don't know what most of this is. This kind of looks like it could be a gym. That looks like it could be a department store. Obviously, this is probably a Pokemon Center. But I don't know. The only other Pokemon Center looks like is over here, so that's kind of a long way to not have a Pokemon Center. Obviously, this might not even be like a town or anything, but obviously there's at the very most 1, 2, 3, 4, could be 5, could be 6, but it's really pushing it. So obviously that's not enough room for all the gems we need, because probably chances are all of these places don't have a gym in them, and then we'd also have to have the whole Elite Four and all that other stuff. Anyway, in case you couldn't tell, this screen recorder only records up to 10 minutes at a time. I forgot to mention that earlier. So it had a little cut there for a second. But anyway, people are speculating this could be basically Pearl Harbor. And I was thinking there's a lot of similarities between Alola and Hoenn. Whereas, like, in Hoenn there's a lot of water, and there's a lot of water in Alola. And with the submarine in Hoenn, with like Team Aqua or Team Magma stealing the submarine, I was thinking it could be similar to that, where like the evil team like takes over the harbor or boat dock, whatever you want to call this little place right here. I was thinking probably because obviously you're likely not going to have surf this early in the game. You're probably not going to have it before you leave this island. So likely what happens is you get down here and you can't leave yet because an evil team took it over or something. I mean, it could be just, they're being repaired or something. I don't know. But I was thinking probably the evil team has something to do with it, and you have to go like all the way across and come back. And well, I mean, you could need a part or something also, like in the games. So like with the Devon goods or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what all this turns out to be. I'm really interested in this. I don't know why, it just looks neat to me. This little area right in here. There might be like a cave. I mean, there could be like a little town there, but I kind of doubt it. Maybe there's a cave that leads all the way over here to this cave. Who knows? But it's a really interesting looking map. It looks like it looks kind of like a waterfall, but it could be something else. I don't know. And this looks interesting too. This whole thing. And then there's the whole, like, you can go that way from the hometown. So I don't know what that would be. Maybe the Elite Four's that way or something. I don't know. I'm really excited to find out though. So anyway, we'll move on. So here we get, like I said before, it's kind of going in a straight line. So we just looked at the map just because it came in that order in the trailer, sort of. So obviously we went from picking your character, and now you're in your room. So we get a little tiny look at that. So notice the colors of everything he's wearing. Well, the hat doesn't really change as far as I could tell. But white shirt, blue stripes, like brownish, grayish pants. They look kind of brown right here, but I thought they were gray. Grayish, blackish, whatever. With the red, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I guess it's the waist part, but it looks like it's part of the inside of the pocket or something. I don't know. And then the bottoms are red. But just take note of that red and the blue. Obviously, you guys have probably already seen it, but there's the desk back here, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have like legs. It's not a typical rectangular desk. It's like built into the wall. It's really cool. There's books and stuff, a globe, and you don't really see a computer in the trailer. Doesn't mean there isn't one, because it could be hiding behind that little row of books over. It's over to the side over there, beside this one. You can't really see it on this image because the camera's turned more towards the TV. So obviously TV and Wii U. But you don't actually get to see a computer. So I was thinking maybe you get a laptop. I think a lot of people are thinking that as well, but I think it's a good theory, because then you could just take your computer everywhere with you. Because if you noticed, we didn't really see a computer in the initial announcement trailer, where they like showed concept art. But yeah, so there's this little thing. It has wheels, and the chair had wheels as well. And there's like a little. I keep calling it a laundry basket for his clothes when he takes them off, like when he changes his clothes, because character customization. Uh, but yeah. So then, this is in the Japanese trailer, obviously. So we'll zoom in on that. But what we see here is this was actually supposed to be before that one, but I just thought it was more interesting, so I put it after. So this one actually comes before the last one. But you see the bed, so that's pretty cool. Which I'm just assuming it's the bed because it looks like a bed. It looks kind of like a futon though as well, because so it could turn into like a couch or something. I don't know. Or it could just be a couch, but I'm assuming it's a bed because it has like a blanket and like a little thin, uncomfortable mattress. It's just so thin, all you would feel is there's rails. But yeah, in the trailer you can actually see its shoes as well before this shot, but it's only in the Japanese one. This image is only in the Japanese one, so if you want to see the Japanese one, it's really good. The Japanese one's probably the best one out of all of them. So then we move on to this shot, and it's basically in your house. You got moving boxes here, you got a Welmer pail here, your mom, a Meowth, and Kukui. Speculation is that you're from Kanto, and your mom brought along her pet Meowth or whatever. I'm not sure why Kukui's here, but if you notice in this image, well, we'll zoom in a little bit so you can see a little more finer detail. But if you notice in this image, you're wearing your hat. So just keep that in mind when we go to this next image. You're wearing your hat when you first come down and your mom's there. But then, in this one, your mom's gone already. It looks like the Meowth is probably gone. So, and Kukui is talking to you now. But you don't have a hat. And if you noticed, before you came down, you had your hat on. So I don't know if that points to you can take your hat off. I mean, a lot of people have noticed this, but I don't know if they actually paid attention that, you know, your hat was on right before that. And I don't know if people really noticed that it's going in a straight line either. So I don't know. It's interesting. I was just wondering if that meant anything or if it's just like that for no reason. So anyway, then after that, you go outside and we see a little glimpse of a new Pokemon in the Korokoro trailer. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I said before, you don't really see a lot of grass, in any of the trailers, but we do see a little bit, and I'm not sure if it's just a visual thing or if it's actually tall grass that you can encounter Pokemon in. But if you notice, there's a little bit of grass right here. I'm sure you can walk over there because obviously you'll be able to walk over here with this guy, and speak to him, maybe speak to the Pokemon. So we can zoom in on that Pokemon. Yeah. Some people thought it had horns because this guy's feet, but it's just his feet. Whoops. So there's that. People are saying it looks like Eevee or Deerling. And I mean it kind of does to an extent. Obviously it can't be an Eevee because the tail's too round at the end, and it just looks a little different. People are saying this could be hooves, but it could also probably be like the paws of like a dog, because like the little bottoms of their paws are typically black, I believe. I don't know if they're ever any other color. I'm not sure. So I'm not going to say that they're not ever any other color. But it looks kind of like a Doge. You know, the meme Doge, obviously. Most people know about it. But yeah, to me it looks like that. And to a lot of people it does, but that's just my opinion on it. So, we'll move on. And like I said, if you notice that there's other places that it shows the grass. Not a lot of people, I don't think, have noticed that. Because I mentioned it a few times and nobody's really said anything about noticing the grass. But I did. So then we see this. This is also part of the Korokoro trailer. But I took the screenshot differently so you could actually tell on this one that it's part of the Korokoro trailer. So you came from over here because obviously that's your house and there's the grass I was just talking about. But if you look at this lady right here, if you watch her in the trailer, she's actually moving her arm, scolding the child. So I thought that was pretty cool. It just made such a big difference to me to see something like that in the game. And actually the kid kind of looks like he's on roller skates with a helmet on. Not sure if he actually is, because it's really hard to see. Especially in this, you can't really see it because it's all blurred and zoomed in. How I did it, but if you look in the trailer, it looks like he's got like little skates. It looks like there might be wheels on under his feet, and that looks kind of like a helmet, but it could be a hat. So, not gonna say that it's not just a hat. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Thought you guys might think it is too. But yeah. So basically, like I said, we're going in a line. We go from here, and then obviously to here, and then Kukui will be standing over there. So he says, "Welcome to paradise, cousin. This is the Alola region." And basically, cousin, the whole cousin thing, because there's a lot of confusion here around this. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're related, though you very well could be. But in Hawaii, they call each other cousin even if they're not related, because basically they consider each other family even if they're not really. I learned this from Lilo and Stitch, one of the movies. I can't remember which one. It's either Lilo and Stitch 2 or Stitch the movie. I'm not quite sure. I think it was Stitch the movie, but I don't know. I can't remember for sure. And obviously it's the Alola region. But if you guys want to look into that, you can, for Lilo and Stitch. Because that's how I, like, automatically knew. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're related. It's kind of like saying bro or whatever. Kind of like that, but, you know. It's more like they feel like your family even though you're not. They treat you like family. So, yeah, Kukui. That's where you see his name. And then we're basically just going up to the lab, obviously, to get our first Pokemon. And then you can see some little grass over here. Obviously, in this shot, it doesn't look as much like grass as the other ones. So that's why I'm thinking it's probably just for visuals, probably not for like running into Pokemon. Though it could be. But I doubt you would run into anything before you got your first Pokemon, so there's that. This is an interesting little step thing too, though. And then obviously we've got these little tiki things. I don't know, tikis or whatever. I don't know what they are if they're not tikis. And then obviously it's basically the same thing, just already up the hill going around. That looks really neat over there. Not sure how you get there, because obviously there's a path. Maybe that's what that little back area leads into, next to the lab. Like right there. So we get a little view of the lab. or the whole town, really. I didn't mean to zoom in that far. So obviously there's your house, rival's house, and then you go like up and around. So yeah. Actually, I kind of wonder if I took those in the wrong order, this one might be before this one. I'm not sure. Anyway, and then we get on to, obviously we see the thing and the little, where he sends out the Pokemon in the lab and everything. Then we get to this part, which is Hala giving you your Pokemon. But like I said earlier, my evidence was, that. So basically, people think this is enough evidence to say Kukui is, which I don't think it is. That's why I kind of went with him introducing you to the world of Pokemon. And then Hala, they think it's just because he gives you your starter. But I mean, Kukui's standing right there too, so. But I think basically that Hala might used to have been the professor and is now either retired or semi-retired. And I think that Kukui could be his son, perhaps, and that he's now taking over. I also think it's possible, and I'm just basing this on how Hawaiians are big on family and all that. I think it's possible that your rival is also Kukui's son, which would make him Hala's grandson. I mean, your rival kid, he kind of has similar hair kind of going on as Hala, so, but the color obviously is more like Kukui's hair because Hala's old and his hair's gone white. But, I was just thinking that would be really interesting because obviously I don't know, I just think he looks more like the professor because he has a lab coat and he just looks more laid back and everything because he's wearing these kind of clothes, more laid back kind of clothes. But obviously it's Hawaii, so he could still be the professor, I suppose. But I think because he was the one, to ask, are you a boy or are you a girl kind of thing, I think he's the professor. So moving on to, obviously this is where people were thinking that Hall is the professor, and obviously he could be still, but I don't think he is, so he basically, he had one Pokeball in his hand when it first showed it, and then it turned into 3, so I guess he's a magician. I'm just kidding, obviously. And then it shows starters. And oh my god, I like this. I didn't even mean to get this image exactly how it is, but Litten like closed his eyes at the last second, so I thought that was pretty cool. They're pretty good starters, I think. Palio is obviously the least liked of the 3. It's weird because it's like in order. This Rowlet's the most liked, Litten's second most liked, and Palio's the least liked. But my favorite's actually Litten, and then Rowlet, and then Palio's like one of my least favorite starters ever. Obviously, not my least favorite Pokemon, not my least favorite starter either. Probably my least favorite water starter though. But yeah. Basically, at first I had trouble deciding which one I liked better, but something was just telling me Litten. And then I saw like a little more to it, and it kind of just solidified my choice for Litten. But I based them together as like the basics of this region, so I kind of just judge them individually based on which of these I like better. See, for example, I currently like Litten the best, but out of their evolutions, I might like Palio's evolution the best. So we'll just have to see about that. But now we'll talk kind of about their typings and everything. And Rowlet is a grass flying, obviously. It's the first dual type basic starter since Bulb. Sorry, it cut out. I don't know if it cut what I was saying, but basically it's the first dual type basic starter since Bulbasaur. And that's a really long time, 20 years, and this is the first one since then to have a dual type from the get-go. Basically what I like about Rowlet is that he turns his head and like gets instructions from his trainer. And as I said before, she's kind of plain looking. So I feel like they're not going to keep her looking that plain. So yeah. But I like that Rowlet turns his head for the instructions. And Rowlet actually has a new move called Leafage, which you can see in the trailer if you go watch it. So, yeah. And if you want to know more about the starters, because they have their entire, well, not, I don't know. They pretty much have their Pokédex entry and a little bit more art of them on the official website. So you can go check that out if you want to. Then we have Litten, and this is one of the reasons I like Litten. One of the, I don't know. He's a pure fire type, and he raises the hair on his back when he attacks. It's so cute. It's like a real life cat. When it gets mad, it like hisses and scratches at you, and its hair goes up on its back. I think he looks like an anime character though too, which I guess that's part of the reason why I like him as well, is because he just reminds me of anime in general. He just looks lazy and like he doesn't care about anything, and he's just like whatever. But yeah. And then there's Palio. This little Pokemon right here. I don't like him mainly because of his nose, and I feel like that's mostly why, well, that's why most people don't like him, is because of his nose. And I get it. I understand that he's a performing circus sea lion type thing, but I just don't like it. It just looks too weird. It just looks like it shouldn't be there. Especially, it looks like it, I guess it's because it looks like it defies gravity, because, you know, sea lions' noses aren't that big. They have little noses, and they balance big balls on them. Well, yeah, whatever. they they balance balls on their noses. I can't get past that, can I? I just don't think it should be so big. Because it looks like it like defies gravity, especially in this angle right here. It makes sense right here, I guess. But over here it just looks like it should fall off. Oh god, I'm sorry. This video is already terrible. It's like this is the worst version of this video I've recorded. And I've tried to record this many times. But we're just gonna go with it. So he's pure water type. Moving on. Forget I mentioned his nose. And the ball on his nose. Basically, I just think he's too cocky, and arrogant and everything. He just, to me, it's like he thinks he's better than everybody, and that you should pay attention to him. And just, no. He's not doing it for me. I just don't like him. And like I said, I get it. He's supposed to be like a performing circus sea lion and balancing it on his nose, but it doesn't come off, so I don't like it. If it came off, I guess I could get behind it maybe, but whatever. I don't know. I just don't like it. And here's where you see Holla's name. in case anyone was wondering, it's in the Japanese trailer when Hoku picks his starter. But we'll talk a little bit about the evolution typings that were found. And it was found in this order. The typings were listed for the pages or whatever. It was grass, flying, ground, fire, water, fighting. And initially people were saying that Rowlet was going to stay grass, flying, and Litten was going to be fire, ground, and Palio was going to be water, fighting. Then people kind of started thinking about it and thought maybe Litten would stay pure fire and Rowlet would become like a burrowing owl, which I don't know a lot about burrowing owls or anything. I just saw other people's videos and comments and stuff on other places. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of of speculation theories, stuff like that. But people are saying now that Rowlet might actually become a burrowing owl and lose the flying type and gain the ground type, which would make sense for the placement of the types. But I guess technically it could be some kind of mix-up, and Litten very well could be ground type. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see what they evolve into and what their types are. And then, obviously, Palio, water fighting. So it's interesting. So yeah. And so you go from picking your starter to you picked your starter. Your starter is Simba. I might actually name my Litten Simba because of this. Obviously, you probably do this with all 3 of the Pokemon, but it just looks more amazing because it's Litten, and it just reminds me so much of Lion King. And I think subconsciously, I kind of knew that before I saw this image that I found is like this image, and then it was like the sun from the Lion King with the lyrics from the beginning of the movie. But yeah, Lion King is my all-time favorite Disney movie. Obviously, like I said earlier, Lilo and Stitch, I love that as well. I love a lot of the Disney movies, but Lion King has just always been my favorite. So, and I know Litten's not a lion; he's most likely a tiger. Some people were saying the markings on his forehead, combined with his eyes, look like the alchemic symbol for sulfur. And then people did more research into like cartoon tigers, and they have that kind of symbol on their head. So yeah, he's gonna evolve into a tiger. Whether it'll be pure fire or part ground type, we don't know yet, but it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if he'll keep the black coloring, or if his color will change or anything as he evolves. I kind of hope he stays black, but we'll see. So then here's an interesting part, and this is the kid I was saying earlier kind of might be Kukui's son and Holland's grandson. Obviously, that's just a theory that I came up with. But yeah, you can see some grass in the background, and when it shows him close up and he puts his hands on his head, you can see it on the other side as well. Obviously, like I said before, that could just be a visual thing. But if you look at this image and the next image, notice the color. And it's the same little clip, just with a difference. Did you see it? The colors of his clothes change. And it's basically the exact same screenshot, except with he's a little bit closer. And obviously this one's more zoomed in because it's on the Japanese trailer. So you see white shirt, blue stripes, and the red. And then on this one, you see white shirt, black stripes, and then white or gray or whatever. So I'm thinking, obviously, customization is pretty much back. Obviously, we're not seeing anything different, but I think that they're not wanting to completely give it away, and they just put a little tiny clip to kind of tease us and make us wonder, or maybe not even notice, because I didn't notice it at first, but someone did, and now everybody knows. So anyway, we get a little shot of this, and in the trailer, you can see there's like a little Pokeball back here. You can see actually a route sign. It looks like it says 2 or 3 or maybe even 8, because it could just kind of go in, and but whatever. That's beside the point. I like how it slopes downward. It looks like there's a person here. I didn't notice this before. I wonder who this is. I wonder who this is. Then you see like the ocean and stuff, so that's pretty cool. Every time I try to record this video, I notice something else. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I keep noticing more and more as I go on, and I wasn't thinking that I would see anything else with just the screenshots, but apparently I am. Anyway, moving on to the Legendaries. Obviously one of the bigger parts of the trailer. Everybody wanted to see the box art Legendaries. First we have Solgaleo, which obviously I'm using their trademark names because the starter trademark names were correct, so I think it's pretty safe to assume these are as well. So Solgaleo, we see it's daytime, and this is like a little theory that I kind of thought of myself, and I'm pretty sure other people have as well. I think I've seen a few other people think of this kind of thing as well, but yeah. So the moon logo's over here, the sun logo's over here, and on the one with Lunala, it's the opposite, which you'll see in a second. And I'll talk a little bit about their types. But I want to just quickly show you my favorite shot of Solgaleo so far, and it's this. I just really like his face, with the little stars and stuff in his face. But yeah. So, like I said before, in this one the sun's on the left and the moon's on the right, and it's nighttime, and yeah. The background looks at least mostly the same. Can't really tell because it's kind of at different angles. So, basically my theory is, first of all, I think that the team's name is probably Team Eclipse, and they're wanting to, like, I'm assuming, I guess, that the Legendaries can cause eclipses, respectively. Like, he makes one eclipse and then the other one does the other. But basically, I feel like at a certain point in the game, you probably, like normally how it's like a normal day to night cycle, like a real time day to night cycle or whatever. I feel like when you get to that point in the game, it'll make it permanently day or permanently night, depending on obviously which game you're playing and which legendaries controlling the day or night or whatever. So I think that might be like the evil team's goal, is to get it eternally day or eternally night. So they're going after the whichever legendary, and like making it, even if it's midnight on sun version, it'd be daytime. So I thought that was an interesting thought, and I'm pretty sure other people have thought of that, but I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And like I said, I was thinking it was very similar to how Hoenn was, and I feel like that's kind of similar to Hoenn as well, because uh, the whole thing with Kyogre and Groudon, Kyogre made it rain heavily, and Groudon made the sunlight harsh. So I feel like it's kind of similar there. Has a lot of similarities, I think, to Hoenn. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the trailers. And then we get the box art, and it says it's available November 18th. And for like Europe, it's actually November 23rd, so they get a little bit later than everybody else. But yeah, so we get the box art. And I really like both of the legendaries. I mean, I really like Solgaleo. He reminds me of Entei probably mostly because of this. And Entei is my favorite of the three. So Entei kind of has those little similar things on his ankles as well. For typings, though, but like I said, I like Lunala a lot better than Solgaleo. For typings, though, it's really debatable. It's pretty common theory that Solgaleo is at least fire type. I have also heard psychic, but I don't see Solgaleo as a psychic. I would see him more of a fighting type, honestly, because he just looks bulky and powerful and strong and whatever. So, not really sure on that. But if they were to throw another type in the mix and, add a new type, I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity to add a light type. And, because the coloring kind of throws you off for him, because I understand there's like the whole concept of white hot fire or whatever, but also I just feel like it would be a good timing to add in light. And like in Japan, dark is actually like evil type, not actually darkness. But it's more related with evil. So I was thinking that light could be more like related to good, and would be like the opposite of dark type, being evil. So I guess that would make sense, because I feel like Lunala is probably at least half dark type. So yeah, that's basically what I think of Solgaleo. I'm not sure what else it could be, like of existing types other than maybe fighting. Obviously it might not be, but I'm not really sure what it would be. But I'm pretty sure it's at least fire. Well, it has to be, because like even in that in the Japanese trailer, when it shows the kid go to the store to get it, in the windows, it shows them using their signature moves, and he's using like a big fire move. So pretty sure he's a fire type, at least. Whether he has an extra typing at all or not, we won't know for a while. And then there's Lunala, which, like I said before, my favorite of the two. A lot of people are thinking maybe psychic. It could obviously be flying because of, it has wings. But to me, it also looks kind of fairy-like. I don't know. I just feel like it would be an interesting type to be fairy dark, or dark fairy. Dark fairy would be pretty cool. And typically fairies kind of have wings or fly, so it could make sense. I'm not saying that it will be, but my theory is it's either dark flying or dark fairy, because It doesn't really look like anything else. I mean, it could be psychic, obviously, but I feel like it looks more like a fairy. I like how it also has the stars in its head as well. So yeah. Um, but I feel like it's dark type because it kind of the moon, the crescent moon thing is kind of the dark symbol for at least the TCG. And yeah, I don't know really what else it could be other than those few typings, because it doesn't really look like much of anything else. I suppose it could be water to be like the opposite of Solgaleo, and like because the moon controls the tides or whatever. So I guess that could also be something that it would do, and besides the like eternal night thing, it could like control the tides and something. I don't know. Do something with the tides, and I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm really interested to see how things play out with these games. They look amazing so far. The graphics are so good, and just everything's boosted from X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It just looks amazing. So that's pretty much all for the trailers. But there has been a little bit more stuff shown since the trailers, and that's pretty much this. I don't know why it's so small, but whatever. Basically what we have is uh, your first battle, and a lot of people are noticing that there's no circles around the bottoms, but I've seen that they didn't have that in X and Y either, but also it was in that other battle, like through the actual trailers, because this is from Pokenchi. From the trailers, when it showed you in like the grassy kind of area, they didn't have that either. So I was thinking maybe we don't get the little circle thing anymore, which I don't think it would be a big deal for them to just keep the texture. I feel like it's more of a hassle to add in the circle, honestly. Uh, so I don't know, maybe it's not, but yeah, I think that we might be getting the circle gone. And then obviously you can see some little bystanders over here, so that's a cool new addition. Um, don't know who these are. I've heard some people saying that these could be your uh, other rivals, because everybody's pointing out obviously that he picked Rowlet, which is weak to Litten, but most people seem to be forgetting that there's a female, or if you pick the female, there's the male counterpart, um, who likely picked the one stronger to your Pokemon. In this case, Palio. So she would have the Palio, he has the Rowlet, and you have the Litten. So yeah. So these obviously could be other rivals. We're not really sure yet. But this obviously doesn't look like the girl character, and this doesn't look like the boy character. Not sure who they would be, but they could just be townspeople. And then we get a little look at the health bar up here, the HP bar for Rowlet. It's kind of wider on this end and thinner on this end. It's darker green on here, over here, and it looks kind of lighter green or yellowish over here. So that's pretty interesting that they have changed it so much. And then there's like this blue splotch, which obviously isn't the sky, because over here you can see the sky and it's like darker blue, and this is kind of like lighter and kind of greenish. But I was thinking it kind of looks like because like it's obviously most likely part of the HP bar, because it just doesn't fit with the rest of the background. I was thinking it kind of looks like a comet though, like over here it's kind of rounded and then the rest is tail. Obviously it might not be, but it would make sense, I think, to be a comet. So yeah, that's pretty much all for this little screenshot. And this was on Pokenchi about a week ago. Because like I said, I was having a lot of technical difficulties with trying to just make this video, and then the whole thing with YouTube, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for that, and I think that's about it, really. But we have more news coming June 2nd. June 2nd at 6 a.m. I guess that's Pacific time. So that would be like 9 a.m. my time. And on the Japanese site it says 10 p.m. for Japan time. So if you're wondering what time it would be for you, just kind of calculate the time difference for you for Japan's, which is 10 p.m. on June 2nd, and then you can kind of tell what it would be. Since it's 10 p.m. for Japan, since I live on like the East Coast area of the U.S., for me, Japan is 13 hours ahead, so 13 hours behind 10 p.m. would be 9 a.m. So yeah, it's pretty easy for me. But I think that's pretty much it. Obviously, there's a lot more you could look at in the trailer. So if you want to see more and maybe spot more stuff for yourself, you should just check out the trailers. And I'll have links for all three of them in the description. So yeah, I have if you guys want to like let me know if what you thought about the video, or if you have anything else to add on to anything I've said or whatever. If you think I'm wrong about anything, you can let me know. You can comment, or there's a bunch of social media I'm on, and I'll leave links to all of it in the description. But I'm on Pokemon Amino, which you can find me under the name HungryRaichu on the following, which is Pokemon Amino, Instagram, and Twitter. On Facebook, I can be found as on the page Vivian Breeders, HungryRaichu, and HungryDedene. I'm not the creator of HungryRaichu or HungryDedene, just Vivian Breeders is mine. But I'm admin Sparky on all three of them. A little backstory to the whole HungryRaichu Facebook and YouTube. The Facebook was actually made before my YouTube channel, and the creator of the Facebook page actually found me on YouTube and told me about her page, and eventually I just became an admin on her page. And she also owns the HungryDedene page as well. Those two pages are kind of dead, and Vivian Breeders is kind of dead as well, but I've posted more recently on Vivian Breeders, and I'm trying to keep at least the Sun and Moon news up to date as much as I can on Vivian Breeders as well. So, but sometimes I share what I post on Vivian Breeders on HungryRaichu and HungryDedene. So, but I will answer if anyone was to message me on anything, because I get notifications for everything. So there's that. And then there's I'm also on Deviantart, which right now I've been trying to draw every single Pokemon in order of National Dex number. And so far I've got up to Spearow, but after I drew Spearow, I actually kind of took an unintended hiatus because I had computer issues, and like with trying to upgrade to Windows 10 and then having it re-downgraded back to Windows 7, and it's a different version of a Windows 7 than I initially had, so all the files are like all jumbled up and like difficult to locate, really. So that's why I haven't really done any of that, but I'm going to try to get back into that soon. But you can go to my DeviantArt, which is seshicloud.deviantart.com, but like I said, link will be in the description. So anyway, I think that's all. So yeah, trying to make sure that I didn't forget anything. I don't think so. So all the links for everything will be in the description. And just let me know what you think of the video and if you think I'm right or wrong. So thanks for watching. Bye!